Okay, we have a Photoshop question that was trying to figure out how to reproduce something like this. It's kind of got a bluish cast. We've got some things that are in focus or closer to in focus, and then some that goes out of focus. So there's several ways to kind of do this, and I'm not sure how they did this particular one, but kind of going to go through, and I've got this image that I got off the internet, and so there's a couple different ways you might think about doing this. One of which is to make a new layer and then choose a color, and since the other one was kind of a bluish cast, until we can get some sort of blue color, and this is just kind of trial and error. We're going to fill it, so it's Alt and backspace, or you can use the paint bucket tool. But then instead of having normal or even changing the opacity, so the opacity just puts a blue haze on everything, you might want to try soft light. And soft light puts a little cast, a bluish cast to it. So really what we're trying to do is emulate an Instagram filter. And you can do that, and I'm going to show you a place where you can look also. But I want to just point that out. That's kind of down and dirty quick. We can also then put an adjustment layer on, levels. And instead of messing around with the default, which is all three channels, that red, the green, and the blue, we could just choose the blue, and we can bump up the blue even more, and we can mess around with that. So let's say now you can kind of see the on and off, and I've kind of really shifted the color cast. So in most cases, most photographers would have said that's a terrible picture because we've got this massive color shift, and most of the time we try to avoid that. But Instagram, I think at least in my iPhone, when I look at different filters, there's a filter called Instant, and that's kind of what we're achieving here. Now what we can also do then is to get this blur. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this new layer, or this previous layer, and then blur it. So I use Gaussian blur or Gaussian blur, however you want to say it, and we can blur it to different degrees here. That's the nice thing about Gaussian blur is that I have the ability to control it. Now obviously we got everything out, but what we can do, and I know this is more of an advanced feature, but if I go to a mask, now I can basically erase part of this. Now I could have just plain erased it, but then I don't have any ability to modify it. So if I take a paintbrush with black, I'm going to have low opacity. Let's try 32, maybe a really big. I can just kind of come in here and paint black, and black is basically negating whatever I did on this layer. So it's revealing and showing through to the previous layer. So I can pick and choose what I want to have revealed and what's blurred and what's not blurred. Now there's another way. Now if I messed up and I did too much, then I can come and switch and go to white, and I can paint that back and go and basically conceal that first layer. Now that's kind of probably the way I would do it when we look back at this original one, because it's kind of selective what's focused and what's not focused. But if we want it to be more consistent, like if you want to do this with a portrait and the center of interest was right in the middle, I can also take a gradient, and then I'm going to reverse it here and pull out a gradient, and now it's kind of uniformed, and you can see over here in the mask what's really doing. So depending on how far I pull out is how much I've revealed. So I've got this soft filter. There's the original, and there's the filter. So anything that you do to a layer can be masked, and then you can mask it back. So I'm going to go kind of crazy here for a second. We'll go to filter gallery, and I'll show you that you can maybe see this a little bit better. Let's just say stained glass, and I want to be on this layer. Now we'll do the filter and filter gallery, and now we'll do the stained glass. So it really modifies that, but now you can see in here in the middle that that stained glass effect is negated because I've revealed the previous filter. So it's a pretty powerful thing, a mask, and so if you don't know how to use that, I encourage you to check that out. The other thing I want to consider is this site right here, Mashable. And what I did was I Googled how to recreate Instagram filters in Photoshop, and I really think that's what it is that you were inquiring about. And so there's all different kinds of filters that can achieve in Instagram that you can do in Photoshop as well. So hopefully that helps.